You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.
So now let's start with scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 works in the similar infrastructure style as scenario 1, but here we are going to be working with SharePoint services and working with SharePoint permissions, SharePoint Online permissions. So first things first, as you can see, I have my virtual machine set up here. This is just setup. It's just created, it's all done. I'll still need to promote this server to a domain controller and do all the other things. That will still be here. So we can worry about it. So I've also set up my workstation. As you can see here, my workstation is also set up. Now, okay, so first things first that I'll do, local server, change the name. Okay, once the name is being changed, I'll just right click, install VMware tools as well. Okay, close, restart later, refresh, run setup 64.exe. Now remember, without this, it will not make a lot of sense to copy and paste certain things. You cannot drag and drop items. It will all be useless. So we want to make sure that we are downloading or we are setting up the VMware tools properly. Okay, this is good. Finish, and yes, now I'm going to restart this computer. Now once it restarts, we will change the IP address, we will install Active Directory domain services and promote the server to a domain controller. All three of those steps. And once this is done, we will create a few users here. This time the number of users increases to 4. So that is one thing. And yes, at the end of this scenario, I'll also show you how to stop the sync, how to disable the sync and delete any remaining data, any metadata or anything else to ensure that you are not getting bombarded by Microsoft regarding with emails regarding sync failures. Okay, while this is here, I'm going to run ncpa.cpl properties, internet protocol right here, 172.16.10.10, 172.16.10.1, 172.16.10.10 is my preferred DNS server. Okay, okay. Now remember, just like how we did in scenario number 1, I'm not going to install or I'm not going to set up a second network adapter right now. I'll do it only after all the installation is done and then I have to connect to the internet. So that way I can troubleshoot issues based on certain criteria or based on certain relative ease rather than relying on other things here. And the same applies for our workstation as well. I'll not be applying directly, I'll apply only after I am done. So let's complete this. This will take a second to complete, so we'll wait for it to complete. And once it is done, we'll just promote this over to a domain controller like planned. So now the installation is done. I'm going to promote this server to a domain controller. Add a new forest, nita.local. Now this does take a few seconds, so you sometimes might be stuck waiting here for an extended period of time. That does happen, but remember, it is configuring everything in the background. So I'm going to move forward with this installation and I'll complete this installation and then we'll look at the next steps. As you can see here, I'm in the prerequisite check part. This process generally remains the same. We don't really change anything. We just use the same series or sequence of domain names or forest names, and that works. Now that is one thing. So it does take a little bit of time sometimes. Sometimes it is because of the background services not starting properly, sometimes it's because of something else. you might have to wait a little bit on this part. And yes, you only do this once. You don't have to do it multiple times. So that is one very good advantage of this. So keep that in mind, and I'll show you after the installation is done. Or you can see right here, I can click on install, and even after this, it will take a few minutes. It will take a few minutes. Now, once the installation is completed, once we are done with everything else, then we'll be able to add the users like we planned earlier. And that is what we'll do right now. We'll wait for the installation to complete. Once it is completed, then we will add the users. So at this point, my domain controller has restarted, and you can see that it's a domain controller. That's perfect. So let's log in first. Now, one of the very first things that I personally do and I encourage doing is just going to your local server, checking on your IP addresses, quite honestly. The only reason why is because I don't want any later complications when we are trying to connect to our domain controller and to do a domain join. Now, ideally, that does not happen. But on the off chance that it does happen, I would rather be safe than sorry. That's the only reason why. So I'm going to disable this and I'm going to enable it again. All right, so this is good. Okay, so this is good. So that's one thing done. The second thing is I'll go to tools and I'll click on Active Directory users and computers. Now under this, I'll double check my domain controller name, Nita ADDS01. Okay, perfect. Right click, new, organizational unit. I'm going to name this Toronto. And I'm going to add users here now. So my first user will be Bill Walsh, B Walsh, password 1350, password 1350. Now, one thing, keep this in mind that in the real world situations, you would not have such simple passwords, or you'd not have this setting that password never expires or anything like that. There would be a lot of other different types of password policies applicable. There would be a list of banned passwords. There would be a lot of those things. So when that is there, it makes it a little bit more challenging for you as an IT admin or as an exchange admin to work around those problems creatively while still making sure that the policy is being followed to the letter. Okay, one more user, Mila Kunis, M Kunis. Now, again, like I said, we are using the same password just for the sake of testing purposes, but in reality, it would never be this. There would always be something different. Every user has a different personality. Every user would have a different password. You can never guess their passwords like that. Okay, next user, Bruce Lee. Oh, I pressed enter instead of tab, and that just led me to cancel it. B Lee. Next. Make sure that you don't have any typos in your password, because that typo will be basically synchronized, and that will create more headaches than it will resolve. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to add Paris Hilton. P Hilton, password 1350, password 1350, and password never expires. Next, and finish. So now all of our users are created. Good. Now let's move to the next part of the equation, and that is domain joining our workstation. Now my workstation is already set up. It has all of the settings, everything configured. All we need to do now is change the IP address and do the domain join process. Now remember, it's the same process as earlier. The only reason why I have been doing this in the background is because it just takes longer. Now, one thing, always double check, because I keep doing this as a force of habit. When I'm installing, I disconnect my NAT router or my NAT adapter here, and it could lead to issues. So first things first, I'm going to do ncpa.cpl, or another way of doing it is you just look for ncpa.cpl in search and you will find it right here. Okay, right click, properties, Internet Protocol version 4, use the following IP address. I'm going to use the IP address 172.16.10.20, 172.16.10.1, 16.10.20, 10.10, not 20. We want it to connect to the domain controller, right? Okay, this is done. Now, click on File Explorer, right click this PC, Properties. There are multiple ways of getting to the same place. I generally prefer going to Settings, System, scroll down and click on About, but it's the same thing, potato, potato, quite honestly. Domain or work group, change, select domain, nita dot local, administrator at nita dot local. Now, honestly, you don't even need to do this. You could just type administrator and type in the password, and even that would work. But I just like adding that at that domain name just for my peace of mind, quite honestly. So you have the choice of doing that or not doing that, and it is a completely you choice now. All right, so at this point we are done with the entire infrastructure setup. It's all connected. Everything is connected. We have the users, we have all of these things here. If I click on computers here, you can see that workstation 01 is already here. Perfect. Now we need to address the next problem. The next problem is we need to have internet access. At this moment, we don't have any access to the internet. So I'm going to go the easy way again. I don't like complicating it. I'm going to add a network adapter running on NAT, just to make it easier for me and for you to work with it. If you have messed up with your NAT settings, make sure that you figure out what exactly is the problem and do it. If it's a clean slate install, you and I would have the basic same NAT settings because we don't mess with the NAT too much. You should not be messing with the NAT unless and until you actually have a very good reason to be doing it. So that's one thing. All right, so you can see that this is connected, perfect. All right, now first things, I'll go to Microsoft Edge. Now remember earlier we had this exact problem earlier as well, wherein we were not able to access certain websites or certain features because Edge was outdated. We are going to, this time we are just going to start with downloading Chrome and just calling it a day here. You can see that this is a lot of just fluff here. So let me just download Chrome and install it. You can see this one here. This is the funniest one. There's no need to download a new browser. Well, hey, come on. They are technically right. We are just doing it because we want to be a little bit faster with our entire process. So let me install Chrome, and once it is done, we will take it from there. Okay, so my Google Chrome has been installed. So first things first that I'll do is I'll log into entra.microsoft.com. Now, ideally, I would recommend doing it over a incognito or private window. That is quite frankly because I just don't want any cache or any extension to get in the way. But since this is a clean slate install, it works in our favor. And we can just use it, and then as soon as we are done, we can just get rid of it. So let me quickly sign up. And yes, it will ask me for MFA, most likely. Most likely this will ask me for MFA, but hey, it is what it is. So let me quickly sign up for my MFA. And even under MFA, actually, there's been a lot of changes recently wherein a lot of the features have been changed even for MFA. So it is a very good idea for you to keep yourself updated with all the new changes Microsoft is making. And yes, I know it seems a little bit difficult, but it is very easy if you just manage to know what you're looking for. Okay, so now I'll click on Entra Connect on my Entra Admin Center here. Click on Manage here and click on Download Connect Sync Agent. Accept terms and download. Now you can see my download has begun. Now, one thing I'm going to do while this is all happening is I'll go to Settings and I'm going to make a few changes here just for my peace of mind and making sure that I am not stuck using something that cannot be changed. First things first, I'm going to change the time. I'll never let this computer sleep. One. Second thing, I'll go to Apps, select Default Apps, and for web browser, I'll change it to Google Chrome and switch anyway. Done. So this saves me from any type of PowerShell command work where I'm working on PowerShell. I don't have to rely on Edge or rely on Internet Explorer to be authenticating myself and redoing the same process again and again. That is the one thing. So I'll wait for this to complete installation, complete downloading, and then we will install it. And this time we are going to be doing the installation in a different manner. So let us see what we are going to do here next. Okay, so now my Azure AD Connect has been installed, or Entra Connect Sync has been installed. I'm first going to install it. Oh, I meant to say downloaded, not installed. Pardon me. Now it has been installed. I agree to license terms, continue. Now, this is where I would rather, last time we used express settings. This time I'm going to use custom settings. Now I will click on customize. Now you can see here that I can just click install without even selecting anything. So install. Now, as I move forward, when I go for customize, I get the option of deciding what kind of authentication or what kind of synchronization, what do I want to do. And that is one of the beauty of, one of the biggest advantages and the beauty of it actually, if I can be so bold to say it. Okay, let's wait for this to complete. And then we'll look at the next step where I'll again have to sign in as the global admin. Now remember one thing, whenever you're doing a synchronization or something like that, it is the 2-3 things that we should discuss about first. The first thing is the fact that it is a good idea to always run this connect sync agent on a domain joined server rather than the domain controller itself. You would like to run it on a domain joined server so that it can connect and get the information of the Active Directory from the domain joined server. That's number one. Point number two, you would like to make sure that you are minimizing the exposure of your domain controller. Remember, minimizing the exposure of your domain controller to the internet, even when it is synchronizing or even when you're doing pass-through authentication. You would like to minimize that. So how would you minimize it? You would use one of the servers that could be considered as a jump server or something else. Now, as you can see here, password hash synchronization, pass-through authentication, federation with ADFS, federation with ping federate, do not configure. I'm going to go with password hash synchronization at the moment. But these are all the other options that are available here. Next. Now, username. And you can see again, this is one of the biggest disadvantages of the old Internet Explorer this thing. As you can see here again, I again have to re-authenticate or redo the entire process, which I'll be honest, in and itself is a very annoying process. Okay, this is done. Yes, so this is my directory. Add directory. Now use existing AD account. neta.local / administrator password 1350. Now this will just take a second. Don't worry about it too much. It could just be a mistake on my end where I might have just entered neta.local here. And yep, you can see this here. So the idea was that you would, when you click on add directory, you'd use a new account. You don't use an existing account. I don't have an existing AD account. That's why it was a little bit tricky. But okay, next. Now, okay, continue without UPN suffix matching. Next. Now here I can filter selected domains and OUs. So under neta.local, I could uncheck everything and I could only check Toronto and only the users under Toronto now. Okay, next. Okay, I'm not changing anything here. Next. Now I can synchronize all devices or I can synchronize a group or something. I'm not going to do all that right now. Next. And here you can see the use cases: Exchange hybrid deployment, Exchange mail public folders, Microsoft Entra ID app and attribute filtering, password write back. Now I do have the option of password write back. If I select this, I will be able to make the changes from both places. Now I have the Entra ID P2 license. That is the reason why. But if you don't have the license, you don't need to select anything. You can just move ahead without any problems and it would still install. And start. Now this will configure. I'll wait for this to complete the configuration and then we'll look at the next steps. And you can see here that the configuration is complete. Perfect. So now if I go to my Entra ID and I refresh this page here. Now remember, the reason why we kept the usernames completely independent or separate was so that we could see the difference here. So if I go to users again, you can see that I have the on-premises users still here. Now you can also see that I have the on-premises users from the previous scenario here as well. And I did mention I'll also show you how to clean up the data here. So we'll clean up the data later on, but for now you can see that they are here. So if I now, for example, I select Jet Li and Megan Fox and click on delete, you can see that it says deleted here. Now if I refresh, but the users are still here. If I refresh, see, gone. That is how you clean up. It's not a big problem. You can see Bill Walsh, Bruce Lee, Mila Kunis, and Paris Hilton are all on premises synchronized. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to open up my admin center here for the next part. admin.microsoft.com. Because I'm logged in, it's the same browser, same window, doesn't really make that big of a difference. It will just allow me in. You can see my last sync status is here and everything is done. Now, if I go back to home, I scroll down a little bit. Under admin centers, I will open SharePoint. Now, in this scenario, we are going to be working with SharePoint first. We're going to be working with SharePoint first. Okay. Now, this is the SharePoint admin center. This is exactly how you can find sites and everything. Alternatively, you could even just open the SharePoint app from here, but you will not be able to manage everything from the SharePoint app. Just remember that. SharePoint app is good for creating a SharePoint site, yes, but not for managing everything 100%. So I could click on create a site and take a look at this picture here. Take a look at this. This is the SharePoint Admin Center. I click on active sites, click on create. And do you see the difference here? Not just team and communication, but we have more sites here as well. That is the one advantage of this. And that is the only advantage. Other than that, there is not a lot of things that are different. I could do from either place and it would still make the same amount of sense. So let me quickly close this and go back to the SharePoint Admin Center. Click on Create, Communication Site, Standard Communication, Use Template. Now the site name, I'm going to give the site name as Nita Scenario 02. Now this is the site address here. This part is the site address here. I'm going to copy the site address for the minute. Now the site needs a owner. I'm going to make, for now, I'm going to make myself as the owner and I'll add the others later. Next. And create site. Now remember, my concern is not with the site, my concern is only with the application of or how we can manage the site. So the site can be anything, it doesn't really matter. I just am concerned about the application or the working of the site here. Okay, so this is my site. Now I will click on membership here and under site members, I'll add my site members now. I can see Bill Walsh here, then let's see. I can see Bruce Lee. Let me type the name now. Mila Kunis and Paris Hilton. I'm going to add all 4 of them here just as members and then I will manage or monitor them later on. Okay, now this is done. This is how you create a site. This is how you add users. This is how you add members, everything done. Now I'm going to look for, I'll open a new tab and I'll look for SharePoint Management Shell. SharePoint Management Shell is a management PowerShell tool that is used for managing SharePoint sites and everything. So download it. It's a very small file. It's like 3 MB file. It's a MSI. So Microsoft installer. And you can see it's already downloaded as well. Now I click on it. I accept the terms, install. Very quick. Very quick. All happened in the space of 30 seconds. All right. Now I click on start and I can find the SharePoint Online Management Shell here. Now, one thing that we'll have to do first is connect dash SPO service and I'll have to provide the URL now. So this is the URL of the site that we just created. Now this will ask me to sign in. You can see that because I'm already signed in earlier when we were setting up the entire thing, it was one of these things. Now you can see again, there is no valid OAuth 2.0 authentication session exists. That is mostly caused by my MFA getting in the way. This is one of the new things here. MFA does get in the way. So let me find a way of how to getting around this problem and then we'll see what to do next. Okay, so one of the key problems that exists in one of these things is that you also need to have the right permissions. So this is my SharePoint Admin Center homepage. I'm going to copy this link until sharepoint.com. https NetSoft 135 Outlook -admin.sharepoint.com. Part of the reason why it wasn't connecting was because of this. So now if I do connect dash SPO service, I'm going to paste the URL right here next to it as a part of the flag. And you can see this. I sign in and I'm here. So now if I do get dash SPO, let's say users, user dash URL, and here if I paste this, it will not give me any result, by the way, because it is just looking for everything in too broad of a scope. But if I go to this and let us say I copied this URL address here and try the command again, get dash SPO user dash site, and I paste this. Let me just double check if there is no typo here. I would not want to be having typos here. You can see that we have a few typos here. You can see that we have everyone who is a part of this with their roles and everything. And this is how you work with the SharePoint Management Shell module. Now this is done. Let us move on to the next step. The next step is relatively very simple. It's relatively very simple, don't worry. Just click on the Anita scenario 02 and click on view site. Now you can see that this is my site and I have this option right here called site access and the setting option here. If I click on setting and I click on site permissions, I can see who is the site owner, I can see who is the site member, I can see who is the site visitor. And I have advanced permission settings as well. So if I click on advanced permission settings, I now have permission levels. So I could, let's say, select and Anita scenario 02 members and click on permission levels. Now under permission levels, I could remove them from edit and literally just select them for contribute. Now other things exist here. This is not the only thing. I just went that direction, but it is a relatively very old interface that exists from SharePoint on premises. Just remember that it exists from SharePoint on premises. So it is a relic of the lost era. Edit user permissions, and you can see here again, I can remove edit. I can just put to contribute. Now you can see that it is the same thing again, but a little bit difference. Edit, the edit permission has can add, edit, and delete lists, can view, add, update, and delete list items and documents. But the contribute permission only has can view, add, update, and delete list item and documents. So that is one thing. So let us say I click OK. And you can see that my permission level has changed. I can select visitors and edit permission level. I could uncheck this and just click OK. Do you see that it will not let me do it though? The lowest permission that I can set is read. So I have to make sure that they have a read permission at the very, very least. All right, so this is how you set up your permissions. Perfect. Now let's move the users around now. Let's move the users around. So I click on site access. Sorry, my bad, not site access, site permissions again. And you can see that the permissions have been changed. It's all on advanced permissions. See? Now, let us say I click on the group members here. I remove this user, I select this user. Now you can see that I don't have any option of removing or doing anything else here. But if I go to owners, I can add users to this group, or actions, I could remove the user from this group. So let me add user. Bill Walsh, show options, I'm not sending an email invitation. I'm just going to share it with him. And Bill Walsh is already here. Now, Bill Walsh was also part of the members, right? So I can remove Bill Walsh from the group here. And you can see that I can have other members here. Now for visitors, let me remove Mila Kunis and Bruce Lee as members and move them into visitors. Visitors, new, add users to this group. Now I don't really need to send an email notification invitation or something. Mila Kunis and Bruce Lee share. Now all of this is done. This is how you can manage your permissions as well. So if I go to home now, remember I'm the admin, so I have the access here. But if I close this, and I refresh the site here now and I click on membership again, you can see I'm the site admin, I'm the site owner, site members and site visitors have been altered. So I could also remove myself as the site owner if I really wish to. But by removing myself as the owner, I'll not be able to see what is happening inside the site. And that is a good thing. So I'm going to remove myself as the site owner here. I'll only remain as the site admin. Perfect. This is exactly how you work with permissions, how you manage permissions. Now comes the really easy part. So get ready. The really easy part is where you go to your workstation, you sign in as B Walsh. Now remember, Bill Walsh is the admin and the owner now, not the admin, the owner of the SharePoint site now. So when Bill Walsh logs in and Bill Walsh goes to the site, it is easier for Bill Walsh to add or remove data. So that is what we are going to do. We are going to download a document and we are going to put it on, or I'm going to download a document, a PDF document of some sort, and I'll just put it on the site. And I will also make sure that Bill Walsh is able to, everybody in the group is able to see the document at the very minimum. Okay, so first things first. Now, again, remember, I have the choice of either using Microsoft Edge or I can go ahead and download Google Chrome and do it. I'm going to just go ahead and download Google Chrome and also ensure that this is all set up because I need multiple browsers for this part. So I would recommend that you do it as well. Download Google Chrome and also make sure that your Edge is up to date. At this point, both of my browsers are ready, up and ready. So let me quickly first find a document to download. So let us say I go to PDF document, PDF download. I mean, it could be any file. It doesn't necessarily have to be a PDF file or something. I'm just using a PDF because it's much easier to kind of work with it. That's the only reason why. But it could be a text file as well. It could also be an application sometimes. You don't really have to do that. So let me just say Adobe P, or you could alternatively, you could create a new text file as well, if you feel like it. Test document, and this is a test document created to verify if permission, okay, let me to verify if permission settings are successful and have been allocated the proper way for, have been allocated the proper way for all users as decided. Okay, save the document. Now, one thing that I'm going to be doing here is first I'll check if I have access to the OneDrive app right here. So, which I do. I can just click on this OneDrive app here and I could sign in as B Walsh at I could do this. I could sign in. But there is a problem here that none of us seem to have realized. You, me, everybody included. Now, the problem is that we did not assign licenses to these users. Remember, we never assigned licenses. We just did not. So, it's a simple fix. I could just close it here for the minute. Go back to my ADDS again, where I'm logged into the admin center, obviously. This is my 365 admin center. Click on users, click on active users, select Bill Walsh, Bruce Lee, Mila Kunis, and Paris Hilton. Click on manage product licenses. We are going to assign more and select the business premium license. Now, once the license has been assigned, it will take a few minutes for all the deployment to happen. So we'll wait for a few minutes and then we will try to sign in again for the OneDrive and see if everything is working as planned. Now, after a little bit of time, you can see that I tried again and this is where I got to, and now I'm using this credential here, password 1350. Now, remember we did password synchronization. So the password from on-premises is going to remain the same. I click on sign in. This app only because I just want it to be isolated to only my OneDrive app for the moment. Now I'll wait for this application to be set up, everything to work. Now remember, this is all temporary. It's not really, it's a virtual machine, so I don't really mind what exactly is happening here. And it is a NAT on top of a NAT. So sometimes you'll feel that it is a whole lot slower than what you expect or see on your local computer. So that also plays a role here. So remember that as well. It's a NAT on top of a NAT. You can see it's signing me in here. That's good. Now, while it is signing me in, let me quickly on Google Chrome, open Google Chrome here and navigate to office.microsoft.com. Now, remember, unlike me, you don't have to make typos. Sometimes I make typos, and that is one of the reasons why I get stuck with a little bit of, let's say, troublesome issues. Now, one more thing that I would recommend that you do is you go to settings, go to Windows Update, and under this, you can see that these are all the updates that are being downloaded in the background for me. Now, ideally, it would be a great thing if you are able to pause updates. Now, this is one of the reasons why it does feel like everything is working a little bit slowly now because I have too many background processes running. And it is a good thing for you to take care of while you are working on these types of things here. Now, you can see this OneDrive folder is here. Next. So the idea is that I will be uploading the document on my SharePoint, on the SharePoint site, and all the users will be able to see. So that is why I want to log in as B Walsh first. You can see it is trying to sign me in, but it will not find me, so it will not be able to sign me in. Later, and open my OneDrive folder. That will open my OneDrive folder. This is my OneDrive default directory for bwalsh here. So if I click on OneDrive, this is where I go to. Perfect. This is good. So now let me quickly log in as bwalsh at NetSoft 135 Outlook dot on Microsoft password 1350. Yes, save. And it will take me, obviously, it will take me to the Copilot page from which I can just see what exactly is happening. So I'm going to log in as the 3 users. I'm going to log in as bwalsh as the owner and set up a new SharePoint, set up a new document library inside the SharePoint site, navigate to it and do all that. Then I'll log in as Paris Hilton and see if I can make changes to the document that is already there. And lastly, I'll log in either as Bruce Lee or Mila Kunis to see if I'm able to read the document and also tell you the options available. Now, even if we don't edit the document per se, we can still see what exactly the options are there. So I'll wait for this to come up completely. Okay, this is good. Apps. It's good, it's good. I'll go to now SharePoint. Now remember, this process is taking longer because of these background downloads happening here. If I did not have these happening at the moment, it would just be a little bit easier or faster for me to make sure that everything is working. So just double check these kinds of things. It's a very small problem. It's not a problem per se. It's just a minor inconvenience, let's just say. Now, if I click on my sites here, now remember, this is also happening because this is the first time that I am coming to this SharePoint. I'm trying to get into the site as the SharePoint user. So I will have to find the site. Or alternatively, I could just paste the URL of the site here. So I could just copy the site URL, this site URL, and go back here and paste it. Now, this is the benefit of having your VMware tools installed properly, because you can just move around a little bit easier. Now, this is Nita scenario 2. I'm Bill Walsh. You can, when I click on the settings here and I click on site permissions, I can see advanced site permissions, everything. Manage who has access. This is all good. Now, here comes the next part, documents, and create a new folder. And I'm going to name this folder testing folder. And the folder color will be blue. Create. This is just for a reference, guys. Just remember that. I open the folder and I click on upload and I upload the files. I remember this file was on my desktop, the test document file. So I'm going to open the file here. I'm going to upload the file. It's a small text document, so it shouldn't take too long. It should be done like this. See? You can see modified by Bill Walsh. Now, if I click on this, you can see the content. You can see that Bill Walsh can add more content here. Bill Walsh has made this change. Okay, done. Let's see if I close this and I refresh this page here. Refresh this page here at the top. And I open this document again. You can see that because it's a text file, the changes were not made. If it's a Word file or something, the changes would have been just automatically stored over here. Not a problem. So that, but even being able to make any changes is a great deal here. Now, if I click on more actions, you can see that I have all of these things. All right. Now, one thing, I'm going to add the shortcut to OneDrive. I'm going to add a shortcut to OneDrive for this folder. So when I click on this, automatically what will happen is on my OneDrive here, the default directory, I will have one more folder that will automatically be for my files, and through my files, it will just show up here. You can see it is synchronizing at the moment. So I'll wait for the synchronization to stop, and then you will be able to see what exactly is happening. It is still processing the changes. And I could just force a sync right away. Could just force a sync right away and open Microsoft OneDrive. Because we already signed into OneDrive, it will not be a big hassle for me, but it will show up here eventually. That is the goal. Now, while this is synchronizing, let us log in as P. Hilton and see if P. Hilton can add any document or not. So let's copy or let's paste the SharePoint site link directly. We don't have to go all throughout that entire process now. So let's see if I'm able to log in first. And if I'm able to log in, then it makes life easy. Now on my Edge, I'll also be doing this process on Edge, just because I want to be able to log in as multiple users and get access to the user. So P Hilton NetSoft 135 Outlook dot on Microsoft. P at SSW0RD 1350. Sign in. Yes. And the very first sign that everything is working perfectly is that it is taking us into the home page here. You can see that it's taking us into the home page. Though it is a little bit slow at the moment, it will be there, number one. And you can see if I click on documents now, if I click on documents, I can see the testing folder. I can see who made the folder. And I can see the document here. Now, obviously, I can't see the changes that were made by Bill Walsh anyway. That was a different story, but I can open this folder. I can open this application somewhere else and just do it. Now, one other thing that this user can do is, as P. Hilton can do is, she can upload files and folders. So let us say I download SharePoint Fundamentals PDF. Now, this is just as an example. I don't even have to do that. I could just, for whatever it's worth, I could just upload files. And under my downloads folder, I could just upload the Chrome setup. Why not? But this just validates the fact that the user, P. Hilton, is a member. She can edit. So she can add content. Or sorry, she can contribute. So she can add content. The setting is allowing her to do it. Now, all we have to do is log in as B. Lee or Mila Kunis. So let me log in as Mila Kunis actually. And same again, password 1350, sign in. You can see this. This is the password right here. Not now. Yes. Now I could have used the incognito tab here, but doesn't make a difference for me personally. So I don't mind it. I could click on documents, click on testing folder, and you can immediately see the difference here first, that I don't have any option of new or upload or do anything else. And that validates the fact that our permissions and settings are properly set up. And that is a very, very, very good thing for all of us. So this is how you work with SharePoint. This is how you manage your permissions. This is how you modify permissions, create custom permissions, or add and remove permissions. Do all of that. So that's one thing. Now I'm going to quickly go to SharePoint because I'm the owner of this site. I can click on site information. Now remember that a few of these things do get a little bit lost in translation sometimes. Sometimes what happens is that the settings change. Sometimes the location changes, but you can delete the site right here. So, okay, let's go back, site information, delete site. Yes, delete and delete associated content. Access is denied. Now, even though this user is the owner, this user has been made an owner. Even the owner cannot delete the site. See? So that just goes on to show you exactly what kind of permission levels we are working with here. So let's go back here. Now, while one last thing to check over here is OneDrive default directory. It's still syncing here. You can see that it's still syncing. The process is still here. So if I click on this site here, yep, default directory Nita scenario 02. This is the file. If I go back here, you can see that my testing folder is right here. And this is all the content in it. Perfect. So it all worked. Everything worked out well for us. Now, let's do a little bit of cleanup. So first cleanup action that I'm going to be doing is settings, site information, delete site. Yes, delete. Now, remember, I'm logged in as the administrator. I'm the global administrator, so I have all the privileges to actually get rid of certain things. Now, one, the site is basically gone now. So that is one thing. This is one perfect thing that happened for us. Okay, this is good. Now, remember I mentioned earlier that we are going to stop the synchronization as well, because right now, as we speak, Entra Connect is actually synchronizing in the background. Connect sync. You can see that it is synchronizing. It will tell you the last synchronization happened when and where. Okay, so I can also see this. Perfect. Now, I go to my PowerShell, and my very first command is stop dash AD. Oh, I entered a equals to instead of a dash. So you can see the AD sync, AD sync cycle. And I've stopped it now. Now the other command, I'm going to just show you the command. I'm just going to paste the command. So this is the next command that you would enter. It's AD sync scheduler, set dash AD sync scheduler dash sync cycle enabled, set to false. Now this will take a second, but after that it is done. And you don't have to worry about it. So if I go back here and I refresh, that should have broken the connection. And you will see later on that it is all good. Now, Remember, it does take a few minutes. It does take a few minutes. So it will not show up right away, but you can see all of this information, everything here. And directory sync is on, everything is on, but it will take a little bit of time. Now, while this is happening, let's do a few things. Let's quickly get rid of Brie Walsh, Bruce Lee, Mila Kunis, and Paris Hilton. So I'm going to first select all those users again, and click on manage product licenses, unassign all the licenses first. Done. Select the user, delete the user, delete user. Now, I don't really need to give access to anyone. Select the user, delete the user. Now, earlier Microsoft used to let you do a bulk delete, but now you can't do bulk delete. You have to do it user by user. So you can do it from here on the 365 admin center. You can still do bulk delete from the Entra admin center. That's one very good thing about it. So this is how we get rid of all of the users. And the sync is already broken, so it will just close. And that is the end of the scenario here. Thank you.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftakademy.com. www.netsoftakademy.com.